entered the boiler room. It's Friday here on UCY.TV, and you are listening to Boiler Room Radio. I am your host, Jim Funke, and the guy over there in the chair on the other side of the country from me is Lance Musser. Good evening, Lance Musser.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm sad.
You're sad?
I'm sad.
Why are you sad?
I want to go back to sleep sometimes, you know?
Oh, God.
Because just the more stuff I read, you know, it's coming. We kind of know what's coming within the next 2 years, let's say. Mm-hmm. And it, like the saying goes, once you're awake, you can't ever go back to sleep. And
do you really wish you could? I mean, honestly, you
know, I look around at some people that have no freaking clue. I mean, no clue.
Right.
You know, it's just like the saying said, you know, look how dumb the average average person is, and then just think half of them are dumber than that or stupider than that.
Yeah, it makes you nervous, doesn't it?
Well, you know, I've said it before. In my grandfather's time, it would have been wonderful just to stay asleep because you were dead before anything hit the fan. But you got to try to balance it with still having fun and golfing and doing the other things that you want to do and still trying to wake people up at the same time.
Well, you can if you want to. I've kind of given up on waking people up.
No, you haven't. You're doing it 3 nights a week.
No, I'm talking to I'm preaching to the choir, man.
You get new people coming in all the time. You just don't know it.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that they actually wake up listening to my show. I think they turn it off going, that guy's crazy. Maybe. I don't know. I just do what I do, man. And you know, I have to, it's gotten to the point where I have to come on this radio station and bitch 3 times a week. Otherwise I'd probably explode. You know, I mean, it's gotten to that point. I have to get this shit out. Otherwise it's just going to keep building up and I'll wind up with a massive tumor on the back of my head. You know, I don't want that. Yep. I don't want that. I'm not very fond of tumors. I think I have a tumor.
There's a natural cure for it, though.
And that would be the beer.
Well,
no, sorry.
Yeah, right. Taking us to the next cosmic shift.
Yeah, the third DNA strand would be a nice thing right now. Mm-hmm. I'm asking for that for my birthday. You know, my birthday's coming up this summer, everybody. So if you'd like to all chip in and get me a present, my third DNA strand would be much appreciated.
I meant to ask because you said coming up here, like to get a pool going when the cricket when the cricket when the critter mic comes back on. Yeah, when the cricket mic comes back on, I'd like to start a pool.
Okay. I'm going for March, April, 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yep.
So right at Easter weekend.
Yeah. Easter's on 4/20, by the way, everybody. Yay!
I don't get it.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. So how was the weather there today, man? We got to do the weather thing. I got a bunch of storms through here, but it was gorgeous.
Beautiful, but they were spraying us, you know. It
was nice here too, man.
But they were spraying the hell out of us today.
That's just, I don't understand it. You know, I mean, they got to have trolls out there watching Facebook, and they know what we're doing. They know what we're doing. They know that we know. So why are they still doing it? It's Raid for Humans. I told you that about a month ago. It's Raid for Humans, everybody. The
I've
shit you see.
quoted that quite a few times now too.
Yeah, that's they couldn't get us to. I mean, there's a certain number of us that won't drink any fluoridated water anymore, and we won't take our vaccines, and so all that crap's for us. You can't outrun the chemtrails. So
I agree.
And it turns a beautifully sunny, bright blue sky day into a shit day, And even I've noticed, and this is going to really piss me off if it continues, during heavy spray days like today, before the actual real clouds move in, my solar panels have a hard time tracking through that shit.
No kidding.
Yeah. They still collect, but it's not like I got 12-volt panels and they'll only put out about 6.5 volts through that shit. They just don't, it's not full blast sunshine, right? So that makes me mad.
And that's one badass machine too. If anybody listening hasn't seen that, make sure they go to your page and see it. Did you put it up on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a longer video here sometime when the weather kind of corrects itself and I get everything else. I still got to go up another 10 feet with the fan.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah, it's still getting too much turbulence where it's sitting, and it won't. So anyway, moving on. How's the Wall Street jackasses doing?
Quiet. I mean, it was relatively quiet today. If you had a 401k, you gained anything back that you lost during the week. It was like 16,300 and change. It was up 16.4 at one time. Interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine today that dumped everything. He had about 200 or 300 grand actually in the stock market and pulled it all out and has been doing real estate, buying them, renting them out, maybe flipping some of them if he gets a good price. And he even said, I think I got out of the market about 8-9 months too early. I think now is actually the time to sell because he even sees a 20% correction.
Coming.
He's actually bought a lot of energy stocks lately, because they took a hit and I guess now they're on the upswing again and I'm not following them, but, even a common layman who just doesn't really know the market, a whole lot is even from what he's saying, 20%. And we've been saying that for 6 months.
You don't really have to know the market from what I'm gathering from listening to Manarino. You just have to follow trends.
Right.
As long as you follow the trends and the trends lead you where you think they're going to lead you, then you're good to go. When it's coming, when it's not coming, when to get out, when to get in. And like, Manarino says, don't day trade. Day traders lose their ass unless they really know what they're doing. They'll get it handed to them. Go in, stay bullish for a little bit, do short-term trades, but not days, weeks, maybe 3 weeks, month. But watch those trends, watch those charts, study history.
Yeah, you're only out if you sell, as the saying goes.
Right. What kind of stories you got?
Really no good stories out today. I tried to find some, interesting ones that I found. I found another article. Actually, this is a decent one. Found another article on the housing. We were talking about the housing. Mm-hmm. And NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors. That's the one for everybody. Then you have your VAR, which would be Virginia, and every state would have one. And this guy, I've actually gone to breakfast because he comes once a year here and speaks to each state about the economic forecast for the upcoming year. And I've actually heard this guy talk. Lawrence Yun, Y-U-N is his name.
Yun.
Yeah, Yun. And listening to him talk about the market because, he's an industry insider, obviously. He's got nothing but great things to say. And,
Wall Street's great.
This is going to be the best year. We know the last 8 months steadily, every month for the last 8 months, applications have been down, contracts have been down, but stick with it. This is going to be a great year. So he blamed it on the weather, last 2 months. Oh, we would have had higher numbers if it wasn't for the weather. So this is when I was saying I wanted to go back to sleep, I want to live in these people's worlds. These people that just don't see anything going on. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that huge wake up call would be a shaker, though. I mean, if you were full on asleep when shit hits the fan, yikes. We're going to watch it unfold on TV. I'll probably be watching TV that day.
Yeah.
When the stock market crashes and everybody hears about it and it finally makes the mainstream media and they can't hide it any longer, I'll probably flip the TV back on just to watch this country come apart at the seams for a little bit. While I load my weapons.
If you remember me talking about it in 07 and 08, the market actually crashed in 07.
Right.
But it didn't catch up until 6 months later in 08.
And it's getting ready to do it again.
But nobody in mainstream media was talking about it for 6 months later. So let's see how long it takes the actual crash versus the, when it starts deteriorating, and then they just try to find other stories to talk about.
Like, JP Morgan people getting hit by vans on bicycles?
Jumping off it, things.
Yeah.
Did you know it was common practice, you probably did, for all those banks to insure their high-level people?
Yeah.
And that they have life insurance policies on most every single high-level person. There was actually something like $83 billion that they have in the case of deaths of certain people. Mm-hmm. And the guerrilla economist, was saying that, almost all these people that have died so far also had policies on them, coincidentally. Interesting to see when the next dead bankers show up, if anybody keeps following out on that story, because I think that's interesting. Zuckerberg, your buddy.
Oh, yeah.
At Facebook.
Me and him's bros.
You bros. He lost $3.1 billion this week, with a decline in his bank and technology stocks.
Good.
They plunged 11% this week after they said that they'd buy some other company, but it still makes him the 22nd richest person on the planet. So,
damn,
no big deal there. And that's really it on my financial news. Again, it was a slow day on the market. Don't know what Manarino anything had, but do want to touch base later on that local sailor story. I don't know how much you talked about it, but the local news, that morning people that I listen to on the radio, they're digging deep. So, I want to talk about that later after we get done with Manarino and stuff. So
cool. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that two people died. I thought only the shooter died, but evidently hero guy that jumped in front of the bullet to save the chick on the deck. He also.
And I got some more comments and stuff to say about that. This investigative reporter here local is really digging. He's one of the military base reporters.
Good.
And he's got some great access, and he's saying stuff on the morning shows that I'm not reading on the newspapers. Not that I read them, but I'm not reading it on the websites online. So actually,
if you can record a couple clips as this thing unfolds, that'd be great, because we could play those.
His shows are archived too, just like yours, so I could go back to listen to this morning show. And I was actually going to do that and take some notes, but I'll just try to do it from memory.
Right on. All right, we'll give Scott his 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and we'll see what Manarino has to spew, and then we'll jump into that. Here's Scott.
Hello, this is Scott, and this is a Hyper Report. Today's report is sponsored by the free book Ramblings of a Madman. Here are the quotes for various items. First, the greatest crisis. China realizes it has the same enemy as Russia, and it is Washington. The attempts of the U.S. and its allies to isolate Russia on both the economic and political fronts is only causing the Russians to prepare for war. By openly ridiculing Russia, Obama is showing that he is not fit for the office of the president, as he is provoking confrontation that would blow the whole world up. Next, false flag war. It turns out that someone was able to record a conversation and put it on YouTube between the Turkish military and political leaders discussing a possible false flag attack to launch a war with Syria. Yet another black eye for the CIA's attempt to destroy the sovereign country of Syria. Next, Pope needs lying dope. The Pope met with the dope Obama in a tense meeting. The desk that they were seated at spoke volumes, as there were no comfy high-back chairs as they faced each other. After 1,000 years, the church knows how to send those subtle messages. Wonder if Obama bowed and kissed the Pope's ring. Next, is this a joke? With the latest unconstitutional extension of Obama-Rec, Bonnier asks if this was a joke. No, John, it's your pathetic weakness that invites Obama to do whatever he wants. Also, John, this is Obama trying to save his Democratic supporters in the upcoming midterm elections. Next, Postal Service managers. The Postal Service had $100 billion in debt and unfunded health benefit liabilities at the end of the last fiscal year. However, this did not stop Postal Service managers from using government travel cards to gamble, pay personal bills, and go bowling. For example, one manager racked up $32,000 in gambling debt with her government travel card. Of course, you can expect Congress to bail out this enterprise headed by criminals. Next, pharma text generators. It appears that Big Pharma, the FDA, and medical journals have been publishing bogus study reports using auto-generated text generators. Needless to say, if this is true, then many of the so-called peer-reviewed information on healthcare may have the same level of factual integrity as Obama-Rec. This likely means that all of those new expensive procedures and medicines may have the same benefits as applying leeches at this point. Finally, please prepare now for the escalating economic and social unrest. Good day.
$32,000 on a government credit card in gambling debts. Well, aren't there restrictions on those cards? Don't they have any kind of electronic restrictions on them where they can only use them at certain locations?
Nope.
Only for government purchases?
Nope.
They should.
Nope. You can get them, and then, you have to turn in your receipts, proving what the thing was usually. Mm-hmm. But who knows how far they are behind, or, if anybody even looks at them, or they just sign off on them, or.
Don't worry about it, man. The Fed will just print some more. Spend what you need. Don't worry about it.
Plenty. Yeah, they got plenty.
The Fed will just print some more. Shit like that just makes me irritated, man. The whole, never mind. I don't even want to get into it.
The F-35 burns me up more than anything else if you're going to talk about wasted money.
Yeah, that's the plane that gets struck by lightning and explodes, right?
Yeah.
And the one that makes the pilot sick because the oxygen supply system is tainted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pilots pass out behind the stick. Nice plane.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the Raptor? I thought they were throwing billions and billions into that one. Now they're just not going to use it. I mean, they're going to go with the Joint Strike Fighter now.
Oh, that's what we got here is the Raptors, the F-22s. I mean, we got a ton of them here.
Yeah, the F-35 is the Joint Strike Fighter.
Right. Yeah, the Raptor is the F-22. It's here. It replaced the F-15.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's for U.S. use only, huh? Not going to give the high-tech shit to the...
No, we give those to Pakistan, Israel, places like that to use against us later.
Right.
Egypt.
All right. Greg Manarino, not even 6 minutes on this one, so must not have been too exciting on Wall Street.
Big news.
Oh, big news. There's an ad. Big news.
Like I said, it was kind of a quiet day. Welcome change.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Greg Manarino. How are you today? It is Friday, March 28th, 2014. All right, people. A lot of stuff going on here, as usual. It's just so interesting to me. It really is. But let's start here. At the time I am doing this video blog, the U.S. equity markets are still open. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up just about 30 points. Earlier in the day, we were north of 125 points to the good. What happened, or what's driving this market here, people? It's incredible. And let me just say this before I finish this video blog. I wouldn't be surprised if the market finishes in the red today.
He was close, 30 points.
Again, earlier, the market was in rally mode. Why? Well, we got some economic news and we found out that there may be more stimulus coming in Europe and China as well. But let's start with this. Okay, so the Commerce Department reports that consumer spending here in the United States is up. In fact, I think it just hit estimates. But what else did we find out? Well, consumer debt, the debt that American citizens are holding, is exploding.
It's huge.
We're now north of $11.5 trillion. What do we know about that? It'll never be paid back. We are in another credit bubble. And whose fault is this? Again, it's the Federal Reserve. It's unbelievable. The misallocation of funds and distortions that they have created in every single asset class by artificially suppressing interest rates. And the price that's going to have to be paid here, people, is going to be so ugly.
Manipulating interest rates.
It's going to really rock the core of the earth. I've gone over that many, many times. What else did we find out? The misinformation that we've been being fed about a global recovery. Well, we found out today that it appears that the ECB is going to stimulate even more. What's the need for that? If
18 billion
Europe is
Ukraine.
recovering, why do we need more stimulus? You got it. China as well. We know they're in some kind of a slowdown here. They have their own issues, and they're going to start printing more as well. Look, I've gone over this many times here, people, and I'm going to say it again. This is a terminal side effect that we are in here. The crash of 2008, that was the party over moment. They can't stop stimulating. They're going to print and find every single way to keep this party going. They can't allow this to actually normalize in any possible meaningful way, because the whole thing will collapse, and it is going to. They can't keep stimulating and printing cash out of thin air. All of the world central banks are doing this without there being dire consequences. It can't happen. It's utterly, utterly madness, people. People forget that the issue with Europe was their debt crisis. You remember the European debt crisis? Why did they have a crisis? Because they admitted they couldn't take on any more debt. What did they do? Well, they stimulated and printed and did this, that, and the other thing to inflate the debt. So you have a debt problem that they tried to fix with more debt and more stimulus, and that's what they're considering now. So that's what drove the market higher earlier in the day, along with this news from the Commerce Department that, American citizens are spending more, but they're borrowing more to do it. Does anyone believe a long-term picture is looking good here? Absolutely not. People got to stop doing this. Stop living beyond their means, and they can't help it. It's human nature just to borrow, to live a better now, not thinking about the consequences down the line. And that's why most Americans live, hand to mouth, and they have no savings. They have negative net worth.
I can't be out of money. I still got checks.
It doesn't sound good to me, people, at all. It's really that simple. And no matter what they try to tell us, we keep seeing more evidence to the contrary. What am I talking about? They're saying that we're in a global recovery. They're saying that the U.S. economy is doing well here. Really? How is that? If, again, Europe is considering further stimulus, if American citizens need to keep borrowing and borrowing just to keep things going, it's not going to last. It can't last. It's impossible. And again, the market today, earlier was up 125 plus points. And the talking heads on the financial channels were all happy and smiley. And now that the market is only up about 30, they're all going, what's going on here? What's going on? Either they're really completely
stupid.
Well, you fill in the blanks, or there's something else going on here. I personally believe they have no clue. They don't understand what's going on here and how all of this is going to end very, very badly. But again, what does it mean for you and me? Opportunity, period. And I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving this, people, without any shadow of a doubt. All right. What does that mean? Today's Friday, people. I will not be back until Monday.
Yeah, he's gone.
So really, all of you have a happy and safe weekend.
And click on his head. Okay. So, he basically said the same thing you said, only just in a few different words. Wall Street's a joke.
We say it every week.
Yeah, they don't pay any attention to the markers. They don't pay any attention to history. I think actually they do. I'm full on board with the whole, this is set up.
No doubt.
This is a game. They all know what's going on. They're going to rape this country as fast and as hard as they can for about the next 12 months, I'm guessing.
They need a reset so they can start over again.
Unless something really serious happens, right? If something really serious happens, or if they see something coming that they can't avoid, then they'll flip the switch and it'll all happen tomorrow. or next week or next month. But I'm guessing that they're going to try to ride this out for about another year or so and just try to rape as much money as they can out of the U.S. Boy, just suck it dry, man. And along with everybody else, France and Italy and, whoever else is on board. So that's what I see coming anyway.
Yeah, eventually.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this truck driver, psychopath, that went on to Naval Air Station. What's the name of it? Norfolk.
It looks like Norfolk when you see it, but us locals pronounce it Norfolk. Yeah, Norfolk.
And he shot a seaman. He shot a sailor and killed him. Actually, the sailor that died was, in my eyes, a hero because he jumped in front of a female and took her bullet.
And here's some of the things about this that you're really not seeing in any websites or any newsprint articles.
Now, I want to remind everybody real quick, just to jump in here ahead of you. Lance lives 20 miles from this location, and he knew nothing of this incident until I brought it up to him the next day, which is kind of strange that the local media would keep it so squashed.
I'm sure had I turned on the morning news, I probably would have seen it, but I didn't see anything on Facebook about it. Didn't hear anybody talking about it. And I talked to a lot of people until I heard from you at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
In the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be strange that there wouldn't be headlines, Anyway, go ahead.
Very weird. But here's all the interesting points about it, and I'll start with the driver. The driver was a convicted felon who had been convicted for manslaughter and spent time in a federal prison.
And they gave this jackass a CDL license and let him tour the country at will.
But hold on, it gets better.
I just thought I'd throw that in there as a former truck driver.
But hold on, it gets better.
I know. Go ahead.
He also spent time in federal prison for crack cocaine distribution.
Oh, he knows Mayor Ford.
He actually spent more time in prison for the drug conviction than he did for killing somebody.
Imagine that.
They still gave him he still passed a security clearance, a background check, to be a truck driver to carry loads on to the base. And on the radio station this morning, there was about
effing amazing.
Well, there's about 5 truck drivers that called in that do business on those bases and have done business in the past. And they said that half the time when you come in the front gate, the guards will ask for a work order, and half the time that they won't. But once you're in the front gate, you're not stopped again. You can go pick up any trucking pallet. I mean, you go to your thing, and obviously you're going to give your work invoice to them. But once you get past the front gate, that's it. You don't show your ID again. So this guy, was a pretty big guy, from the looks of him, from his picture. So he was
had a big head.
Nothing.
Go ahead.
A big head?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was walking up to the USS Mahan and confronted the guard on duty, which happened to be a female. He overpowered the female, took her weapon, and I guess a scuttle ensued.
Shooting. Yep.
They got separated. Somebody else came down from the ship, called in help, ran down the ship, and threw himself in between the attacker and the female sailor and got shot at that moment. So, yeah, they were saying here on the radio, he's a hero, chivalry, and everything else. But, then the whole argument's going to be brought up on, well, should women be in a guard role if they're going to be able to be overpowered by, manhandled by somebody that comes and tries to get on the ship? So they're, suspiciously keeping a lot of this out of the news when they're talking about it, and they're not even talking about it. what's the motive behind this?
Yeah.
I mean, really, have you thought about it? My guys here local can't even come up with a motive for it. What's the motive?
Mockingbird.
I mean, is it one of those Denver?
Monarch? Operation
Batman?
Monarch? What is it?
The what?
Operation Monarch? Whatever. What's the one where they?
MK Ultra.
MK Ultra?
Yeah. You know, the mind meld, the Vulcan mind meld on it. I don't know. Is it one of those? Man, I don't know. But the guy got in the front gate at, 11 o'clock at night, got in the front gate, driving his truck, got all the way up to the ship. And again, this happened, but convicted felon for, manslaughter and a crack cocaine conviction. Still got a CDL, still passed a background check, and still around on, any base that accepts those cards to get on. And they all do.
I'm not understanding that.
It's amazing. Now, is it because they're you'd think if there's such a shortage of jobs, they might be a little bit more selective. They could potentially be a little bit more selective. Since 9/11 happened, when you go to get a CDL, you have to pass a federal background check. You have to submit your fingerprints and be on file with the FBI as a truck driver. And I don't give a shit what you're hauling. If you're hauling furniture, gas, sailboat fuel, I don't give a shit what you're hauling. So I think you actually need to rephrase that. You don't have to pass. You have to submit to.
Yes.
Because if there's no failing, what the hell good is it?
Yeah, well, the insurance companies are the only ones that dictate who drives and who does not. Who gets the job and who does not. They really, most trucking companies, they don't give a shit who you are. As long as you got a clean driving record, they'll put you in a seat because you're going to generate revenue. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
that's they don't care. And that's why I quit driving.
Yeah, but look at this guy. He's a convicted felon. And not that I'm saying, once you do your time, how long should you be penalized? And I understand all that. And I get that. But it's amazing.
It is. And there's
guy can't vote. He'd have to write a letter to the governor to vote, but he can get a security ID to get onto a military facility.
And 2 people dead because of that. He's one of them.
One of them's him.
Yeah, well, but still.
He was probably an innocent pawn in the game if it's going to be one of those Denver things.
Yeah, what was the point of that? And what about the shooting at
D.C.?
Yeah, up in D.C. The guy just grabs a shotgun, walks in there, and starts blowing people away for no reason.
What was that one?
Wasn't it on a naval base?
Oh, yeah. No, that was in Baltimore. Yeah. Where the Washington Nationals play.
Right.
We don't know what kind of weapon that was because just like this one, there will
No. The black guy,
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a shotgun. They had him on video holding the shotgun. Walking down the hallway all stealthy and shit, shooting people. I can't remember where it was. I thought it was on another military installation
it was the Navy
FBI
Yard.
headquarters or something. Yeah.
No, it was the Navy Yard. It's where, the NCIS was headquartered at and stuff like that.
That was just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Same type of deal.
But you'll never see any footage.
Banging away with a gun.
This will be one of those ones where you'll never see any cell phone camera footage.
You can't tell me they don't have closed circuit cameras all over those ships when they're sitting in port.
They got them all over the whole base.
It's just like the Pentagon. Yeah, there was only one grainy 5 frame, every shot of 5 frames every second. Something from the guard shack in front of the Pentagon. That's the only reason we got to see that little bang going through the wall. Right.
Oh yeah, because they took the gas station one right away.
Well, there's 29 cameras mounted around that building on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
They went through all that shit after 9/11. It's heinous, man. It's heinous. And people don't say nothing about it. They see the meme on Facebook and they go, oh wow. And that's it. That's why I quit. Giving my 2 cents to people that I think are asleep. I'm not for waking people up no more. If If you choose to remain stupid with the amount of technology that's available to you and the amount of information that's available to you on that cell phone that you carry in your pocket every day, then good on you. Hope it works out for you.
Yeah. In my hand, I hold the knowledge of the entire history of the planet, and we post cat memes on Facebook
and
with
play
it,
Angry
and
Birds.
take selfies and make duck face pictures.
Right. God help us. Anyway, what else you got on this shooter?
No, I think that was it. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff that I hadn't read about or seen on the news, because the news even stopped talking about it now. I mean, it's even a non-story. The base commander, came out and said, hey, he wasn't authorized to be on the base. And, it's a fine line between being able to keep the base open and being able to move about it and everybody can do their jobs to, being a control, too much control. And then we can't do our work.
Too much control.
I'd hate to be a truck driver coming on that base for the next couple months.
No shit. Excuse me, sir. Need you to come out here out of the cab.
Oh, yeah.
Drop them. Spread your cheeks. We're going to give you once over.
Well, I'll tell you, I go on Fort Eustis about once a month because my Kiwanis Club does stuff. And I'll be out there in a couple of weeks when we do the Easter egg hunt.
Ooh, yay.
And because I don't have an ID card anymore, I have to go through the right side tent. I have to open up the glove box, the center console, all four doors, if I have a four-door, the trunk, and the hood, and then stand back 5 feet from the vehicle while they go around it, under it with mirrors and everything like that. That's to get on every post nowadays. That's what you have to go through with a non-ID. But when I'm with somebody with an ID, I'm in the passenger seat. I give them my driver's license. I'm in the gate.
When you go in for the Kiwanis thing, man, I dare you to duct tape a coffee can in the trunk and put a little flashy light through the lid of it just to see if they find it. Leave it sit right in the middle of the trunk.
No.
They'll probably think it's a effing clock or something. Hey, man, cool little stereo you got in the back there, dude.
Oh, these are civilian. They're whack and hunt people, too.
Oh, Jesus.
They've got one E4 or 5 that oversees them, and they've all got M16s. Even the whack and hut people got guns.
Those people have been around since the inception of this country. Whack and hut is in the game. Those people that run that company are just straight evil.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
They're every bit as bad as Blackwater, XI, whatever you want to call them now. The Blackwater people, they've changed names about 10 times since all that crap went down in Iraq, but they're just as bad. They're as bad as the guys out there, the Navy SEAL guys, what the hell's the name of that? Trident? Trident Security Services.
I'm pretty sure they have the contract to guard all the military bases here. At least all the ones around here. It's all whack and hut security people.
Imagine that.
And even down in Georgia, when I'd go down to Fort Gordon and visit my parents when they lived down there, that was whack and hut civilian people. However, there was always a Humvee with a 50 cal on top and 2 or 3 soldiers sitting around in it with M16s and whatnot.
As backup.
50 yards inside the gate. At every post I've been on lately, there's always a Humvee with a 50 cal pointing right at you when you come in the gate.
Makes you feel secure, doesn't it?
I feel more secure on the post than I do anywhere else, to be quite frank. It's kind of weird, but I was a soldier too, so I know how secure a military installation should be, or usually is.
Yeah, tell that to the guys down at Fort Hood.
Yeah, and if they would have allowed, personal weapons on post, I think that guy would have got stopped a whole lot sooner.
Yep, definitely.
But he might have been one of those mind things too, from what I've read.
Mm-hmm. But they make up everything, man. I mean, they just make up the shit as they go along sometimes,
and people believe it.
Right. Like
because if it's on mainstream media, no matter what, and I'm going to delve off into a politics. I know you don't like politics, but this Chris Christie thing, I don't know if you've heard anything about it, but they've absolved him of everything about this Bridgegate thing. So all the Republicans.
I thought they had evidence. I thought people came out and said, yeah, he knew, he said, he did.
Google it real quick.
I know.
There's a report that came out yesterday that has absolved him from all knowledge of it, knowing about it, one person in his office. This is what the final report came out. And Fox and all these other people are jumping on this going, see, you guys beat him up. Well, this report was done by Christie's law firm at the tune of $1.1 million. So what do you think the report's going to say?
Right.
They say just like you said, they say whatever the hell they want to say. And because mainstream media reports it, it's the truth.
He's got no game anyway. I don't give a shit. They can absolve him of everything all the way back to the nailing of Christ on the cross. He is not going to be the president of the United States.
It's between him and Hillary.
Shit.
Hillary and Rahm, and Christie, and I can't figure out the other person yet, but I will put money down on it.
Jeb Bush is going to throw his hat in that ring, Bubba.
We're Bushed out. We've had 2 Bushes.
But the Bush family's part of the big deal.
Yeah, I know, but we're Bushed out.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we're Bushed out. They wouldn't be able to hide.
Too. I'm Clinton
out. They wouldn't
out.
be able to hide that.
I'm Clinton
hide
out.
the voter count, I mean.
I can't stand the fact that Hillary Clinton's not walking around in circles in a cage.
Oh, yeah.
She needs to be in a cage somewhere because of Chris Stevens and the other 3.
I mean, there's a lot of people that should pay for that, actually.
Absolutely. But she was the buck stopper, as far as I'm concerned. She was the Secretary of State. That was everything stopped at her desk, unless it went on to Broncos.
That's why she got out, so she could have 2 years, 3 years, or whatever it is, 4 years.
She can lick a sack, man.
I'm telling you, they want her in. They want her in.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see it happening. I just can't. I just can't.
And there's a lot of things that happen in this United States that I couldn't see happening, but the sheep will let it get by. The sheep will let it. On voting day, I'm going to have a sign out there next to the people that are saying Hillary Clinton and Christie, vote for these 2 people.
What difference does it make now?
I'm going to have a sign out there that says, turn around. Your vote doesn't count.
Vote for nobody, 2016.
Vote for nobody. Turn around.
Nobody cares. Nobody will make a difference.
But I swear I'm going to do it.
Okay. We're going to move on just for a second. Because this was kind of a big deal, too. I saw this a little bit earlier. YouTube ban. How Turkish officials conspired to stage a Syria attack to provoke war. Imagine that. Fake war. False flag.
Didn't work.
Now it's proven. It's on audio tape that everything was made up. That this war was for the new world order to gain more control, to take over a country that they had no control over. That everything that we saw on TV and heard on the radio, that the MSM was blowing at us from their talking heads, was a lie. And it's proof.
Say it ain't so.
I'll make up a cause of war by ordering a missile attack on Turkey. This leaked conversation is coming back to haunt the highest echelon of the Turkish government as it plans a provocation in Syria while scrambling to contain social media internally. The leaked audio tapes that revealed Turkey's highest ministers staging an anti-Assad military intervention in Syria have already caused YouTube to be shut down in the country, as well as leading to fevered accusations of treachery and betrayal of Turkey's political interest. A declaration of war, as Turkish Foreign Minister Ahmet, Davutoglu put it. I'm not going to say that dude's name again. This is, of course, after intelligence chief Hakan Fidan suggested seizing the opportunity to secure Turkish intervention in the Syrian conflict, a war that's already claimed 140,000 lives and counting. Skull and bones, anybody? That's ridiculous, man. 140,000 people. In the conversation, Davutoglu, I tried it, is heard saying that Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan, I heard that one before, sees any attack as an opportunity to increase troop presence in Syria, where it has staunchly supported the anti-Assad rebels. They have some quotes here. Let's see. Here's a transcript of the conversation in full. The video can be found below. Actually, I'm going to go down here to this video and see if we can't listen to all this play out live on tape. Where is it? Scroll. Here we go.
So no wonder they tried to put the ban in place in there, because they knew this video was coming out.
True. Man, I don't know if this is going to play well. I think it might be in foreign speak.
With subtitles.
We'll see.
Yeah, subtitles don't translate to radio very well.
No. Oh, no, actually it's just a video of the quotes going back and forth, and they are being played, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Scrolling through them. Okay. So let's see what we got here.
But that's big news.
Yeah, it is, actually. It goes back and forth for a minute. Our national security has become a common cheap domestic policy outfit. Let's see. One of them says it's a direct cause of war. I mean, what are we going to do? It's a direct cause of war. I couldn't entirely understand the other thing. What exactly does our foreign ministry supposed to do? No, I'm not talking about I can't go through. But anyway, you people are going to hear about it. I guarantee you, over the next few days, over the next week or so. This is probably going to be all over the mainstream media.
This will
the White House is running in the other direction from this. What'd you say?
It'll be on certain mainstream media channels, but I don't think they'll make much of I think you have to stick with alternative media to find anything out on it. RT will dig it up because it doesn't make us look good.
I'm gonna hit some of these highlights. Fidan says, I'll send 4 men from Syria if that's what it takes. I'll make up a cause of war by ordering a missile attack on Turkey. And then this Sinerologu guy says, but if we can decide an operation in there, it should create a shocking effect. I mean, if we're going to do so, I don't know what we're going to do, but regardless of what we decide, I don't think it would be appropriate to notify anyone beforehand. No, don't tell nobody shit. Davutoglu says, how did we get special forces into action when there was a threat in northern Iraq? We shouldn't have done so. We should have done so there too. We should have trained those men. We should have sent men. Oh, I'm talking about Iraq. We missed the opportunity. What is it Rahm Emanuel said? Never let a good crisis go to waste. But I think they generated this whole crisis out of thin air, just like they do all their money. Yeah, that's all the highlights I can find on here that were easily readable. So, now that they've been caught creating war and causing strife in nations that they have no control over, the UN, the U.S., military-industrial complex, the bankers, now that they've been caught with their pants down, so to speak, their hand in the cookie jar, whatever else, whatever other kind of analogies you want to put to it. Where do we go from here, man? I mean, what do we hammer this home? Is this another nail in the coffin? Is it going to slow them down one iota? I doubt it. Washington's backpedaling, crawfishing away from this thing as fast as they can because they know that they're caught dead to rights, starting a war for no reason, just like they told Putin he can't do.
correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they already catch us doing that over the chemical weapons? And then we just kind of said, oh, yeah, you got us. And then backed off. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we've already been caught dead to rights on.
That's what I mean. You know, this is all, these revelations are all coming out, but it's not slowing them down one iota. You know, back in the day, a couple of decades ago, they would have stopped, you know, like a nun took a ruler to their hand. Ow, shit. Okay, we won't do nothing for a minute. But not no more. They're full tilt boogie, headed to the end of this. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see what other kind of headlines we can drag out of the muck. Suicide bombings and gunfight as Taliban attack foreign guest house in Kabul. That place is still just death and destruction every day. Went into Iraq to bring them freedom and democracy, and by God, if they got it. They're just blowing the freedom and democracy out of everybody every day. Car bombs, suicide attacks, just the death just keeps on coming. All the DU laying around in the desert out there, causing kids to be growing 5 toes on their head instead of on their foot.
You see nothing about that over here on the news.
Hell no. It's a wonder we're not still over there blowing rounds through them guns, because there's all kinds of nuclear waste over here that needs to be gotten rid of.
You don't see Morley Safer over in Fukushima doing any special investigative reports on their fingers and toes over there either.
No, or all the children being born in the last couple of years coming down with thyroid disorders and
organs born outside their body.
Right. Hydroencephaly, is that what that's called, or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, byproducts of depleted uranium and such.
Plutonium, cesium.
Right.
In the Ukraine, we've got the right sector surrounding Parliament, threatening to kill everyone in there because they killed one of their leaders.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? Olga dropped me that link today about that guy getting killed. It was that article where they showed him laying on the side of the road, you know, with his raiders on. And she dropped me the link because she had just seen it today. When I told her, I said, hey, do you see what's going on? I think it was yesterday. I said, hey, you see what's going on at Parliament right now? Because that's when you dropped me that link about them attacking it at the moment.
Now,
go ahead.
Did you happen to ask her, and I don't know if she would know or not, but was he, they kind of alluded to the fact that this guy that they killed a couple days ago, I think it's been 2 days now, that he was one of the leaders of the Chechen rebels that blew up the school back in I think it was in the 90s, in the late 90s, with all the students in it, and dropped the roof in on them and killed a bunch of them. And did you?
Right, I saw that.
Okay.
Article. So I asked her, she dropped the link to me, and I said, so tell me, is he a hero or is he a terrorist or a bad guy like, you know, RT and stuff is putting him out to be? And she said, I have no idea who he is. I've never heard of him before.
No shit.
That's what I said. I said, really? I said, well, the only reason I know about him is because they had video of him going in there, grabbing people by the tie and making them sign papers and making them resign and saying he wasn't going to throw down his weapons and he was keeping them. I said, so I'm, and she said that was the first time she had ever seen him.
His name is Alexander Muzichko.
Right.
Okay. That's the guy that they killed a couple days ago. And, Arsen Avakov. He's the CIA put-in guy that's now in charge of Ukraine. He's the acting president, I guess, or whatever. So all these right-wing sector guys that were friends of Muzichko's they're threatening to kill this Jack and everybody that's associated with the murder of Muzichko. They're calling for the resignations of the Robin assault team or whatever that went in there to get him.
Well, let's clarify, though, that guy that got killed, the Muchinsko or whatever he was.
Muzichko, yeah.
Yeah, was trying to lead a force to push back the Russians and make sure the Russians never came in there.
Yes, the right sector.
So, I mean, he was actively gathering a force to combat these people.
Evidently, so there's 15,000 of them. You know, there's about 15,000 of them that are surrounding this Parliament building right now. So, or I don't know if they still are. I'm guessing they still are.
You could go to RT Live, and I'm sure it would
find out, right? But yeah, it's not going away. This thing in the Ukraine, people, it's not going to go away. It's not. This is not. Oh man, I really don't know if it's going to lead to World War III now or not. I mean, they've kind of put a clamp down on everything, and Putin's being a real gentleman coming out on TV, in his homeland. And
he called Obama today.
Yeah, he did. And we can actually dip into that if you want to. We've still got a couple minutes left in the hour.
Sure. And I got one other thing too.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he did call him up today, and it was in response to when Obama went to The Hague and John Kerry submitted a treaty, if you will, to the Russians and said, please sign this, and then we'll have peace, love, and happiness again. Mm. So Putin called up Obama today and said, I will let my people meet with your people and see what we can work out. So I think it's just a delay tactic, but John Kerry and whoever the Russian level equivalent of him, they are meeting tomorrow, to try to work this out. But I think they're all pawns in the same game, being controlled by the same people. So they're going to chug back a couple shots of vodka and
I don't know, man.
Conference and be frowning at each other.
Lavrov does not like John Kerry. You're talking about Sergei Lavrov. He's the foreign minister for Russia. For him and John Kerry to be in the same room with each other, they don't even look at each other. Lavrov does not like him
on TV.
Well, I'm just telling you, you can check it. I mean, just watch the video. You'll see the body language. Lavrov does not like him.
I hear you, but I mean, he's told, all right, this guy, skull and crossbones, he's one of the, insiders. Show him all the disrespect you want on the TV, but when you walk in behind closed doors, slide him the secret handshake. And I wouldn't disillusion anybody by saying that doesn't happen.
Mm. Or maybe it's Vitaly Churkin. I don't know. I think Lavrov he might just be the foreign minister. I don't know. We'll see. Here's a quote from I think this is from Churkin. There is no political leader in sight who might be able to unite this country. All the politicians one can hear about are extremely divisive for the Ukrainian society. Yeah, that's Churkin. The other thing is going to come up in the next couple of months is most likely a dramatic decline in the living standards of people because the IMF package, which has now been proposed to them. And we went over that on Wednesday. They are cutting the throats of the people in Ukraine simply because the IMF is going to give them $18 billion.
Right.
They are going to give up half of everything they have. That is a crock of shit.
I agree.
And this is exactly why half the people in Ukraine did not want to join with the euro. They did not want to take that debt. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're just about out of time, man.
Well, real quickly, lastly, I remember seeing a chart of the last 5 newsworthy events that took over, natural disasters, everything else.
Yep.
Tomorrow falls into that chart of the 371 days apart. So be looking for tomorrow.
Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled, everybody.
Peace and
Thanks for listening to UCY.TV. Stay tuned for Turboville. I think Primer Time. And then Levon's on. See you, everybody. Tomorrow night after the last cup. Thanks, Lance.